It's about to mark 2 decades of independence and sign on the dotted line to join the EU. But right now, just as important for Croatia is to make sure it's a must-visit destination for the likes of you and me.
I spoke to so many people coming here just by accident.
Plus, the high life in Havana. We look at Cuba's plans to attract wealthy visitors. And Karen Bauman takes the stairway to heaven, just off the coast of Devon.
Hello and welcome to Fast Track. I'm Rajan Datar. Right now I'm in Zagreb in Croatia, a country that aspires to be in the major league for tourist destinations. 15% of its economy right now relies on that. But in order to achieve its goal, it has to overcome certain obstacles, and that journey starts right here in Zagreb.
A handsome, historic city dating back to the 13th century. And things are looking up here in Zagreb. The most recent figures showing a year-on-year increase in tourist numbers of 21%. But as for a grand vision to give this city and Croatia a unique, clear identity, well, the jury's still out.
Well, honestly, it was her suggestion. To tell you the truth, it wasn't like on the top of my priority destinations. But you know, we are very good friends and we wanted to spend time together, and it's always nice to discover new things.
We have been to Prague and Budapest before, but this was a mystery country to us still. We had only really heard about the Yugoslavian states when a federation, when they were together.
Croatia had a task to step away from the image it used to have. A socialist country that has been through a war, and to be seen now as a modern tourist country. I think the results show that we are on the right path, but we need to achieve one more thing, to become closer to our competitors and mix among the best, like Italy and France.
The neo-Gothic cathedral, the cemetery and the Baroque architecture. Obvious assets for this small city of only 1 million. There are encouraging signs that tourists from new markets are coming, 40,000 from China for instance. But the next step? To diversify and appeal to a younger crowd. Can Zagreb do that job?
They were always fighting to get the money.
Zagreb should position itself as a new European capital. It should be the ambition to say it's not only the coastal area of Croatia, it's Zagreb with the value of Central European and Mediterranean influence.
Zagreb lacks a little bit more of strategy to, market it better to tourists, because we cannot, just chase Paris or Budapest or Vienna, because Zagreb was never a kind of major city. We don't have Louvre or Schönbrunn.
Contemporary culture certainly appears to be a promising route. From the newish Museum of Contemporary Art, which we explored last year when the latest Gilbert and George exhibition was displayed, to the numerous annual film, theatre and music festivals that are held here. And now there's something rather original pulling in the punters too. Broken hearts are breaking new ground here and making a name for Zagreb abroad too.
Garter belts. I never put them on. The relationship might have lasted longer if I had. Bring me something that will remind you of me. He brought me a pair of socks from London. I was wearing them the night he left me.
What becomes of the broken hearted who had love that's now departed?
The Museum of Broken Relationships relies on a simple idea. People contribute mementos from their own dissolved love affairs.
One of them chopped the furniture of the other one when she left her for another woman, and she said that the ex was raised to the role of therapeutic instrument because as she piled these little pieces of furniture, she was starting to feel better.
Coming to a museum, usually it's the culture and the history of the place, but it's about people breaking up, you know, marriages being destroyed, deaths, and it's okay, yeah, it's a bit strange, but it's really interesting.
What emotion does it leave you with?
Oh, wow. Sadness, a lot of sadness, but also happiness and knowing that everyone is experiencing what we've all experienced once in our lifetime, so.
I was all right for a while.
I think people are really surprised because they see things they don't expect to see, and we are getting so much positive feedback, people saying that it's the most interesting museum they've ever visited, people saying that they were touched to tears or also laughter.
The city's symbol is a heart, and there's even talk of branding Zagreb as the destination to mend broken hearts. Could just be the boost the country needs.
For this country to be a serious contender, there are some major obstacles to overcome. The tourist trade call them seasonality, upmarket hospitality, and extending short-term stays. In other words, they want you to come all year round, stay for longer, and spend more money. Thank you.
Part of the problem has been the over-dependence on Croatia's traditional jewel in the crown, the Adriatic coast, the Thousand Little Islands and Dubrovnik in particular. Tourism is largely concentrated in 2 short months, and for some has relied too heavily on budget tourism from neighbouring countries.
Your tagline is the Mediterranean as it once was. Some people might say, hang on, you're looking backwards. Shouldn't you be looking forwards?
Well, it was only to say that we haven't destroyed the idea of holidays with overdevelopment. What some other countries, I will not mention any, have done.
We shouldn't say, yes, the coast of Croatia is like Italy, but more beautiful. It's not the point, I think. The coast, you have it in France, Italy, there will be Albania soon.
All signs seem to point to Zagreb as an antidote to provide a fresh, untainted contemporary slant, and no longer remain just a transit point, as it still is for many.
We'll only be here for half a day, which is unfortunate on the bus tour. We'd rather be here longer than that.
Zagreb, well, a lot of people wouldn't even know which Yugoslavian country Zagreb was in.
We all say the coastline. I think maybe more of the events could be done in Zagreb.
In December, Croatia takes the first formal step towards official EU membership. At a time when near neighbours Greece are struggling to stay afloat, and many say Croatia has benefited from some tourists being diverted from its troubled neighbour, will joining the European Union be a help or hindrance to tourism here?
Greek tourism had problems in 2010, but not because it had a smaller number of arrivals. They were actually better than the previous year. Their problem was a fall in profits. Joining the EU will be a huge advantage, because the EU always encourages their own people to spend holidays in their own country or within the EU.
And EU membership may also be yet more proof that Zagreb has truly emerged from its troubled times at the end of the last century, ready now to shake up its more established rivals across Europe.
So what do you think? Do you reckon countries like Croatia really can compete with the big boys of tourism? Would you ever consider actually coming here yourselves? Let us know. Right, let's see what else is making news in the world of travel this week.
Airline profits are likely to fall by almost a third in 2012, according to IATA, the global airline body. European carriers are expected to be the worst hit. Their profits could fall by as much as 80% due to the economic crisis. A South African taxi firm has started the country's first black-owned airline, hoping to make air travel more affordable for cash-strapped commuters. Santaco Airlines will fly to destinations in remote areas of the country, targeting those who don't have access to a car.
We are improving the quality of life to provide people with something that they thought they will never be able to access.
And automatic travel pods have been launched at Heathrow Airport. The driverless vehicles can carry up to 4 passengers at a speed of 40 kilometres an hour. It's hoped the zero-emission pods will cut the number of bus journeys around the airport by 50,000 every year.
Stay with us, because coming up after the break, we're off to 2 very different islands. Lundi, where you'll find more puffins than people, and Cuba, where years of political and economic isolation have taken their toll. But we'll find out how tourism might just come to the rescue. So don't go away.